Hi, everybody. Welcome to Get Your Play Online. Happy Sunday. Today is one of our live video days. So I am going to be showing you how to do a fun project called making a recycled rain stick using a paper towel tube. So you guys can follow along or you can watch this and kind of see how I do it and then choose how you want to make yours. There are a bunch of ways to make ones of these. So I'm going to be letting you know some of the options that you have to make your very own at home. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to show you how it works. So here's the tube, and you can see I decorated it. I used marker, but there are other options too. We could have used crayons. I could have even glued on some like puff balls or little buttons or sequins to make it really colorful. You could kind of bedazzle it a little bit after you finish if that's something that you would want to do with yours. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tip it just like that. Doesn't that sound cool? So I think that this one sounds really great. So the one I'm going to make with you guys today, I'm going to try to make it sound just as great. But what's happening is that there are all these toothpicks inside of the tube going different directions. So when the rice, it's what's in here is rice, dried rice. So when the rice hits the toothpicks, it makes that really cool sound. So I'll show it for you guys one more time. Wow, how cool. Okay, so I'm going to show you all of the supplies that we are going to need to get started today. All right, so first we are going to need a paper towel tube, and then I am going to be using markers to decorate mine, but if you guys have colored pencils or crayons, or maybe you don't want to decorate yours, that's fine too. And then after it's all done, and after we've poked all the toothpicks in there, you can glue on some things like I said, pom-poms or like pipe cleaners. That would be kind of cool to go around your rain stick. Whatever you want. And then we will need some toothpicks, like I was saying. So I have a whole box here. It's not totally full, but we're going to need probably about 50 toothpicks. So we're going to need quite a bit. But you can also do this activity not using any toothpicks. So you would simply skip those steps, and I'll tell you this more when we get there, but you would simply skip those steps and it would still make a really cool sound. So that's an option. And then to make the holes in our paper towel roll, I have a little push pin, just a thumbtack that I'm going to be using. And we will need some scissors, so make sure there's an adult with you guys because we are going to be using some dangerous things today. So one of them is scissors, and then our push pins, even our toothpicks are a little sharp. So I know that when I was making my first one, I hurt myself. I poked myself in the finger with a toothpick. It did not feel good. So I want you guys to be extra, extra careful, okay? And then the other thing too that requires an adult to be with you and requires you to get permission from your grown-up are these pliers. These pliers are going to help cut off the extra ends of our toothpicks because plain scissors don't work out so well. I tried it, it didn't work. Okay, and I'm going to be using some tape, Scotch tape, like I said, rice. And then I'm just going to need some pieces of construction paper. These are going to be for the ends of our tube. And then here I'm going to be using some hot glue. This is to keep the toothpicks in place. So I'm going to go ahead and turn mine on. I'm going to plug it in so it'll get warm by the time we need it. And this is also something that you definitely need a grown-up's permission to use, or maybe they can come and help you for this part. All right, you guys, let's get rolling, shall we? Okay, so the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to start by decorating it. So I'm going to grab some markers. And I'm going to go ahead. I don't know what I'm really feeling today. I really like what are called cool colors. So these are called cool colors, the green and the blue and the purple, and then like orange and red and yellow. Those are warm colors, but I really like the cool colors. I don't know why, but they're just very calming to me. And I think that it's a good idea for a rain stick to have cool colors on it. Let's see. I think I might color in some of the different sections. You see how this roll is sectioned off into like little loops? I think I'm going to color them all different. And I'm not going to worry too much about making sure it looks perfect, because I know at the end I can always hot glue other things on too. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch and use a different color now. I think I'm gonna use green for this next part. I'm interested to know your guys' favorite color. If you had to pick one, what would it be? And if you're watching this video with me, you can go ahead and put your answer in the comments, or your grown-up can. Otherwise, you can talk it through with your grown-up too. I think that my favorite color is blue. Probably why I picked it to use for this project today. I think it's so calming and soothing. Kind of like my rain stick that we're making today. I think that's pretty calming too. The sound of rain falling is one of my favorite sounds. Some people I know don't like it as much. Okay, and now I'm going to switch and use my favorite color, blue. I'm going to finish it off. If you are going right alongside me, you are doing a great job on your rain stick, decorating it however you want, whatever sounds good to you. This is a really good time to just think about what kinds of things you like and what kind of colors and how you want to make your rain stick unique to what you like. Okay, so we're done decorating for now here. And then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke some holes. So I'm gonna use this push pin and poke just a bunch of holes all through the tube. So I'm gonna show you, but there shouldn't be any rhyme or reason as to where you put it. It's just gonna be in really random spots. And I'm gonna put them pretty close together because I know that we're gonna need, see, like here's my first one right here, and then my second one, I just jumped over about an inch or so. So about the amount of like my thumb fingernail. And I'm just gonna go through and And I'm just going to poke, poke, poke. And remember, be extra careful to not poke your finger, because that would not feel good. You guys are doing a great job. Sometimes the paper towel is a little thick on some parts of it, so it's harder to get the push pin in. It really takes some muscles. Hard for me to know. I keep wondering, you know, am I putting too many holes? Am I putting too few holes? Are they too close together, too far apart, too straight? But you know what I found is that the rain stick will work pretty much no matter what. So don't worry too much about, you know, how many or too much, because if there are too many holes, I'm just going to put a dab of hot glue over it at the end, and that will close up the hole. So we'll make sure, we'll go on a scavenger hunt for all the holes that we have and make sure we either put a toothpick in there or we put some hot glue over so that there's no rice escaping when we use our rain stick. I thought it would be fun to do a rain stick activity today just because the month is April and it tends to rain a lot in April. But I think that maybe just depends on where you live. Right now where I live, it's super sunny out. So that's nice that we have a nice day where I live. I wonder what the weather is like where you live. Or if you've been outside today to feel what the weather is. I hope it's nice. Okay, so I've got quite a few holes. I'm not sure you'll be able to see real well, but you can see a little bit. So that was great, you guys. Nice job. So we'll put the push pin aside because we won't need it for right now. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to put the toothpicks in my my paper towel roll. So this is where it gets kind of tricky. So if you do need an adult's help, that is a-okay. And you can also remember skip this part too. So you don't need to use the toothpicks. You don't need to poke the holes if you don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my toothpick and I'm going to find one hole. So I'm going to start on this side, and I did find a hole, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fit the toothpick in there. Might be kind of tricky to put it in there because it's a little bit bigger than the push pin hole. But then what I'm going to do is it's inside here. Do you see it? So I'm going to find another hole on the other side. It doesn't have to be straight. It just has to have a door or a window, the little hole on the other side to pop out of. So what it's going to end up looking like. And sometimes it's good to look inside the tube to see where the hole is. But this is what it's going to end up looking like. So do you see that there's two ends of the toothpick sticking out? It's like two little arms. So this is perfect. This is what we want. And we're just going to leave it like this. And we're going to keep going. And we're going to find one hole and then find another hole on the other side. So we'll see how well these match up. And who knows? Maybe we will have to make some more holes. And that's okay. If I was putting one in and there wasn't really a spot where it matched up with one, maybe I would grab my push pin again and I would make another one. You guys are really doing a great job. I know that this part is tricky, but you guys are doing an awesome, awesome job. So some of these are going to be kind of straight. Oops, I'm going to turn this so you guys can see. And some of them are going to be really slanted. Like, you see this finger and then this finger? See how slanted this one is? That's good. That's a good thing. We want them in all different directions. So don't be afraid to really make them slanted wherever there's a hole that works. And then with any extra holes, we'll close them up. There's one hole that I can't get to my toothpick in. It's too thick. I think that's good. I didn't know it took so many muscles to make a rain stick. Who would have thought, right? And sometimes they kind of slide out as I'm putting new ones in. Some of mine kind of tend to slide out, so I'm just going to periodically, every so often, make sure that they're staying in their little holes. You guys are doing a really great job with this one. See how it's looking? It's like a cactus almost right now. Ouchie, that would hurt to grab this one, wouldn't it? That's why I am trying to be extra careful. Sometimes though, even for adults, to get poked. You guys are really doing an excellent job. So what I'm gonna do, I feel like I'm like a pirate. Arg. Sorry. I am gonna turn it around and I'm gonna look inside. Hold on, I'm trying to get the camera to see so that I can see where the holes are a little bit better. Do you see on this side how I can see the holes? And then this side, I can't see where the holes are anymore. That's how hard we've been working. So I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna use one eye to try and find a hole for this guy. There we go. You guys are working so hard. Oops, mine fell down. Okay. We're gonna keep going just like this. This takes a lot of focus sometimes. So since we're making a rain stick and we were talking about weather, I'm wondering what your guys' favorite season is. Is it summer or fall, winter, spring? I think mine is springtime. That's why I love the season that we're in right now, because I think it's so magical when the snow melts away and then you can hear all the birds chirping and the sunshine. It's getting warmer out. Oh boy. Trying to get this through here. You guys are doing so great. We're almost halfway there with our toothpicks. I am on mine. If you're at a different spot on yours, that's a-okay. That's just fine. as we're sitting here and working on this, I'm thinking about what I'm going to use my rain stick for. So what I like to use my rain stick for is kind of that relaxing sound, like I said, because I love the sound of rain. But it could also be kind of a musical instrument too. So you could use it and, you know, maybe shake it up a little bit and then turn it over and shake it the other way, kind of hear what kinds of music it makes. That's a pretty good idea, and really fun too. So another way to do this activity is to take a toilet paper roll. If you have maybe more of those lying around than the paper towel rolls, you can certainly do this. They definitely take a lot less time than a whole paper towel roll. But if you're using a toilet paper roll, one of the little guys, I think it would be less of a rain stick and more of a maraca. Have you ever heard of a maraca? That's an instrument that has, I don't know what's inside the real instrument, but it makes that shaking noise like this. So that would be kind of fun to make a little toilet paper roll and to make it into a maraca. Okay. We are moving right along, everybody. I know it doesn't really look like it, but we are. This hole is kind of hard to get it into, I realized. Some of them take more focus and more pushing than the other ones. I'll show you guys again what I'm seeing on the inside here. So here's what I'm seeing from this way. And then here's what I'm seeing from the other way. Pretty cool, huh? And speaking of musical instruments, I'm wondering if you guys have ever played a musical instrument, or if you haven't, what musical instrument you would really like to try to play. Maybe you can tell your grown-up that you're working with. If you could play any musical instrument, what would it be? If you could be really good at a musical instrument, what would it be? I'm trying to think about what my answer would be to that. And I think it would be really fun to play the drums. I don't know, I've always been amazed that they can make like such cool sound, and I don't know, I just think they're super cool. And that would be really, really cool to be able to have that skill and that talent. And, you know, if you're picking your favorite musical instrument, another musical instrument would be your voice, too. You can use your voice and sing. That's a musical instrument. That's pretty fun. I feel like I'm definitely acting like a pirate right now with my eye closed. That's just how it's the easiest for me to look in there and focus and see where the hole is on the other side. I know I look pretty silly. It's okay. You can laugh at me. This one just doesn't seem to want to go in. This part is like thicker. I think I'm going to choose a different hole to see if this one will work better. There we go. I knew I would find one. This is good practice for our fingers too. And just working on our precision and trying to get this small toothpick into one of these small holes. It's not an easy task, so it's good practice for us. We are so close, you guys. Do you see how close we are to the top? I do have some random holes that we'll fill in with glue. And that's okay. That's what the hot glue does. It's good. I have a feeling like this rain stick is going to turn out so great. It's all because of our great hard work. We're so close to getting all of our toothpicks in. I don't have very many holes left to fill. Okay. You guys have done so great so far. Excellent job. Okay, so I think I've put in all the toothpicks that I want to for mine. So here's what it looks like. I wish I could have you guys feel it like gently because it feels kind of like a cactus. So we have to be extra careful right now until we cut off these ends. So, and even then it's a little sharp, so we gotta be careful. But if you guys are not done with your toothpicks, that's okay. Just go ahead and pause this video and then come back to it when you're ready for this next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue. And the reason I'm using hot glue is because it dries really fast, and we kind of need it too for this. So I'm going to take my hot glue, and I am going to glue right where the toothpicks meet the paper towel tube. So right around that little hole that we made. And then I'm also going to use the hot glue and cover any open holes that I see. So I'm just going to put a little hot glue on there just to make sure it stays. And even if it doesn't, if it comes off, we can always put some more on there. So I'm thinking we'll use plenty of hot glue for this because we don't want any rice coming out during our rain stick when we're using it after we're all done here today. So this takes a while too, to go through everything. Takes a lot of patience. And you guys have been doing great with that today. And this is also something that your grown-up can help you with too, especially with a hot glue gun, just to make sure that nobody gets hurt or burned. Or nobody gets their fingers stuck together. Great job, you guys. You guys are doing so excellent. I'm already running out of hot glue, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this one, and sometimes it just needs a little push to keep gluing for us. Told you we were going to use a lot of glue today. So maybe having some extra on hand, some extra sticks there, wouldn't be a bad idea. We are getting there, everybody. It takes a while for this, but it's so much better to go slower, and make sure you don't hurt yourself as opposed to going really fast, because we don't want anybody to get hurt. So, and if I'm going too fast for you, you can always pause the video and do this part on your own, and then start the video back up whenever you would like. Unless you're watching it live with me, then that won't work. But you can always save the video and come back to it. You guys are doing just an excellent job. Oop, I found some more holes I have to fill in here with some more glue so that we don't have any rice escaping. And while we're doing this, I'm thinking about the rice that I'm going to put in here. So if you don't have any rice, or if you don't want to use rice, if you are maybe have an allergy to rice, you can use different things. So you can use maybe like some beads that you would do some beading crafts with. Those would work. They would make the same kind of noise. You could use noodles, um, really anything like that that makes that loud noise. Anything hard. Beans, like dried beans and uncooked beans, that would be an option too. You guys are just doing so great. Okay, I'm going to, oops, there's some more, but we were pretty close here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm just gonna go through, I think I've got it all, but I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna look and I'm gonna see if I see anything that needs more glue on it. So I see a hole right here. I'm just gonna dab a little glue right there. And then anything else, oops, there's a little hole right there. When you're kind of going through the first time, it's easy to miss them. So just be careful and see if you can find any other ones. It's nice because most of this glue is dry already, so we can move right along to our next step. All right, I think we're ready to go, everybody. I'm going to keep my hot glue gun on just in case some of the toothpicks are giving us a hard time and we have to use some more. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to chop off part of our toothpicks, all of them that are sticking up, so that it's as flat as I can make it. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of press really hard with the pliers and I'm just going to twist it until it comes off. See that little bit of toothpick? And it doesn't have to be perfect because anything, as long as we get that tip off, I'm sorry, I want to make sure you guys can see going the wrong way. As long as we can get this sharp tip off, it's going to be perfect. So it doesn't have to be totally flat on there. See, I've got a few sticking up and that's a-okay. Just going to get off kind of as much as we can, as long as you don't care that there's a little bump in your rain stick. But see, they do come off pretty easily usually. Sometimes they're a little tricky. So sometimes it doesn't always work as well. I think the key with this too is the longer the glue has had to dry, the easier it's going to be to take these guys off. See, this one's kind of giving me, kind of being a pain. Okay, see, one of my toothpicks broke already. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fill in that hole, and that'll make our lives easier. And if we do put any hot glue on here, it's really important not to grab it because we don't want to touch the hot glue right after we put it on there because it hasn't had a chance to dry and cool. So I'm going to be extra careful about where I'm grabbing. Everybody is doing such an excellent job on their rain stick. It's going to be so worth all of our hard work because it's going to make such a cool sound when we're done here pretty soon. We are working our way, aren't we? Nice job, everybody. Oops, yep, I got a hole here. I was going too quick. It looks like I need to fill it in with some glue. I'm going to take my little glue stick, or my glue gun, and I'm going to cover it up just like that. All right, and then we will keep going. I've got my little toothpick ends getting stuck to my hot glue on here. I'm wondering if that's happening to any of you guys. And if you do have some string from the hot glue on yours, that's okay. After we're done, you'll have time and you can peel those strings off because they are kind of annoying. But if you like them, you can certainly leave them. They do kind of make the glue stick or the rain stick look pretty cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep on trucking here. We really are getting close to being done. Just a few more, I think. All right, I think I have got all of mine. So here's what mine looks like now. I'm gonna lift this up so I can see you guys too. Okay, so here's what mine looks like now. And you can see there's really no sharp ends. I can still feel the bumps, but they're not as sharp and not as pokey. And that's exactly what we want. So your table might look like mine, a lot of toothpick ends, and that's okay. I'm gonna clean that up later. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the ends of our rain stick, because obviously we can't put the rice in now because the rice would fall right out the bottom. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use two different colors, one for each end. So I'm gonna take the green first and do one end. So how this is gonna work is I am going to trace the bottom of my rain stick. I just trace a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. But then I also want some flaps that I can put around the sides of our rain stick to make it stay. So I'm just gonna draw those. And then I'll cut this out with the flaps. And again, they don't have to be perfect or equal or pretty or anything. So I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut this guy out. And remember, I'm cutting it out with the flaps on there. Okay, so here's what it should look like. Something like that anyway. All right, and then what I'm gonna do, I think I'll put that up for this, is I'm gonna put it on the top and I'm gonna fit it on there nicely. So I'm gonna make sure that there's no spots that the rice are gonna squeak out of, but I'm gonna also cover the entire bottom with tape too. So if there's a little gap, that's totally fine. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna take a pretty long piece of tape, probably about this long, and I'm gonna kind of go around the top of it here. So I'm gonna do one flap, I'm gonna hold it in place, I'm gonna put one flap down, and then I'm gonna do the next flap. I'm just gonna kind of put it all down right now. This way wasn't the best way to tape it. I'll do it differently for the next side. So mine has some gaps because I didn't tape it the way I wanted to. I decided to try something new. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a bunch of little tape and I'm just gonna go over the top of it until I reach the other side so that the entire top is covered. And again, my pieces are about this long, maybe 2 fingers long. All right, and I'm gonna put maybe one more to make sure I get all the little holes on there. We have worked hard on this rain stick. It is looking so great. All right, so there's my end to my rain stick. And now, what do we have to do? Do we make the other end right away? No, we don't. We are going to put our rice inside. So this is the really fun part. So I think on my activity plan for today, I put like 2 tablespoons of rice, but really it's however much rice you want. So we're gonna listen to what that much rice sounds like, and we're gonna see how much we want in ours. So just listen carefully. Oh, I think that sounds pretty darn cool. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand over the top and I'm going to turn it over again just to see and make sure that I like that sound. Yeah. I really like that sound. I think this one sounds better than the first one I made, so that's exciting. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to make the top again, or the top this time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab the bottom this time of the rain stick where it's taped, and be careful not to have it tip over because remember our top is wide open and we have a lot of rice in there. So I'm just going to trace the bottom where it's taped here. And it might be kind of hard to trace it, and that's okay. I'm gonna put my rain stick aside and I'm gonna make those flaps again. And then I'm gonna cut it out. Okay, so here's what my top one looks like. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna cover it with tape anyway. Okay, and then I'll put my camera up here for you guys to see. And I'm gonna put it on top and I'm gonna just make sure that it's in the good position here. And then what I'm gonna do instead this time is I'm gonna take one pretty long piece of tape and I'm gonna put it across the middle here, just to center it for us. You don't even have to get the flaps right away, just like one across the middle, and then it'll be easier to do all the flaps and all that fun stuff. So I'm gonna do each flap now with just one piece of tape. I'm gonna do each flap here. Each one gets a piece of tape, and then we'll cover all the little openings that are there. Okay, so I still have some little holes in mine, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some more tape on there, and then I think I'm going to go around the rim of it just to make sure I get all the spots that need to be covered and to make sure that it holds our tape down nicely. Okay, I'm going to go around the rim, and then our rain stick will be complete. So I've got a pretty long piece of tape, and I'm just going to put it around the rim. Maybe squeeze it a little bit to get the tape to stick. All right, everybody, we have worked so hard, and our rain stick is now done. So now it's the best part. We're gonna see how it sounds. That sounds so cool. And it looks cool because we decorated it how we wanted to. All right, and remember, if you want to keep decorating yours, you can certainly glue on some things or keep drawing on there, whatever you guys think. So thank you guys so much for joining me today and making a recycled rain stick with me. Again, you can make this with a toilet paper roll too, and it would go a lot quicker for the little ones. And you don't need to use all the toothpicks either. You can just use plain rice, and that would work perfectly as well. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.